What's up, DraftKings grinders? Gun here, back with another DraftKings NBA Core Picks video. It is August 10th, 2020, and we have another 5-game staggered slate today, which has been the case since the bubble NBA has returned. It's been a crazy bumpy ride. I alluded to it at the top of my FanDuel Core Pick video, but we're seeing some weird stuff happen in the bubble, and at this that point in the season where a lot of teams are getting locked in, so you're going to see a lot of weird minute rotations as guys are protected, rested down the stretch, and then you have weird stuff like, I don't know, Austin Rivers scoring a career high in real points like he did last night. So, the weirdness may continue today, and I think it will. The Dallas Mavericks are going to look like a weird team on paper, and projecting that is going to be a lot of fun and chaos and confusion. But hopefully we'll get it done. Hey, if you guys are new to the channel, what you see on the screen is rundfs.com. That's the place where we don't just play DFS, we run DFS. Wonderful community behind that paywall that congregates in the premium Discord, and in that Discord we have daily voice chats about 2 hours before lock for both NBA, baseball, and of course we'll have the famous Saturday night candle burn for the NFL season. But we also have the patented research spreadsheets, so if you guys are trying to do your day-to-day research, you can use the spreadsheets that you'll maybe see a glimpse of in this video, and add that to your repertoire. And also, I just stress out, if you guys are just curious where I'm at, I personally list out my player pool, where I'm tiering them at, value plays that I'm on, and so on and so forth. So if you guys would like to cross-reference your ideas with my ideas, having a subscription at rundfs.com is a good way to do that. And it's also a way to show a little support for the channel and show me some love. So we'd love to have you in that community. No hidden fees, no reoccurring charges every month. If you buy a week pass in a week when it expires, it's up to you to renew. And I'm very happy to say that probably 95% plus of subscribers re-up. So that's my baseline for letting me know that people are satisfied, because I do know that the prices are a little bit higher than other places, but I do think we offer a very unique experience. So let's talk about today's DraftKings slate. In this video, my objective is to present 5 plays from where I sit now, early in the morning at my first look at this NBA slate, based on news that I have, that I'm projecting, and based on prices and matchups and stuff like that. So I'm going to try and pull away with 5 players, hopefully 2 guard eligible, 2 forward eligible, and a center eligible player that I'm liking early on to potentially crown as a crown player in my DraftKings lineups tonight. So let's get cranked up, and let's talk about pick number 1. This one might be a little weird, but Mike Conley. This can be a game that I have a lot more exposure to than maybe I wanted to have exposure to. But at 6.1K, Mike Conley's making the conversation. He has been playing elevated minutes. He's taken double-digit shot attempts, and there's been a good sample size of hot, cold, good, bad matchups, and a lot could be going for him here. This is a playoff contender or playoff team in the Utah Jazz. They have been without Emmanuel Mudiay for a game or so, and Donovan Mitchell is questionable with, let me pull up the official tag here from his DK designation. He's questionable due to a left lower leg peroneal strain. If you ask me, a team that's locked into the playoffs probably is not going to push their franchise player too far. Also, if you follow Donovan Mitchell on Instagram, you might have had an interesting notification from him. There's a video on Twitter featuring some audio from that video. It was a very short video. But nonetheless, I think there's an above average chance that Donovan Mitchell could be out today. Obviously, that'd be an even more incredulous boost for a guy like Jordan Clarkson, because there's a good chance this game gets sideways. But Mike Conley's been getting it done. 6.1K, yeah, I'm in. I'm a buyer. Double-digit shot attempts, like I said, does a little bit of everything. Couple rebounds, couple of assists. So against the backup Dallas Mavericks at 6.1K. Can I get 30 fantasy points or better? That's what he's done in 3 straight. Can I get 20 real points? He's shooting a lot better than he was to start the season. And if you scroll through this game log, there's really only 2 games of well under 30 fantasy points. 25 against Detroit on March 7th, and then 21 against OKC in the second game back from the bubble. So I feel like he's been consistent enough to give me a decent floor at 6.1. So I'm gonna put him in the mix here. And like I said, if we get word that Donovan Mitchell and maybe a guy like Emmanuel Mudiay is out or something like that, and I don't think Mudiay might not be out, but he's off the injury report. Okay, he missed a game on Saturday, so I thought that might have been a lingering issue. Anyway, I like Mike Conley to start with. Let's move on. Trey Burke. The Dallas Mavericks are going to be a source of a lot of potential value going into the slate. Now, results-wise, it seems too good to be true to just say, all right, this 1, 2, 3, 4 guys are the absolute locks for value. We've seen this against the Bucks the other day with the Brooklyn Nets. Remember that? All the stud starters, Joe Harris, Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, rested. And there was a lot of backups playing a lot of minutes. I think we're going to have that similar situation here, except DraftKings really didn't get ahead of the pricing like they did in that Brooklyn Nets example. So there's going to be guys like Tim Hardaway Jr. I'm going to talk about another guy here in a minute, Seth Curry, DeLon Wright. There's options out there, but just know this. The 3 big guys that are out for the Mavericks here, Luka Doncic, Kristaps Porzingis, and Dorian Finney-Smith. Now, Doncic and Porzingis making up a lot of usage points and peripherals, and Dorian Finney-Smith a lot of minutes. You put those 3 people together, that's over 100 minutes that need to be made up. And I think we're going to try and put those minutes on a lot of people. If we look at this popcorn machine from the other day against the Bucks, we saw Justin Jackson, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Maxi Kleber, DeLon Wright, Trey Burke. Seth Curry is probable for this game, and it looks like Tim Hardaway Jr. will still play. If you watch my FanDuel video, I do have a hankering for Tim Hardaway Jr. based on historic usage rates from this season. He has a 28.2% usage rate this season without Porzingis and Luka on the court, but only averaging just 1 FanDuel point, 1 DraftKings point per minute. So it's not like he's blowing expectations out the water. So a guy that's a little bit cheaper, Trey Burke. And there's not a big sample size here, really any sample size of Trey Burke without Luka and Porzingis, and he would be a wild card that I feel like could impact the validity or at least the ceiling of a guy like Tim Hardaway Jr. And since he's a lot cheaper on DraftKings than his peer, I like Trey Burke as a value play, and I think he'll be a little bit trendy. He's listed as a point guard. But if you look at the last 5 games in the bubble, when Trey Burke is on the court, against Milwaukee, he had a 30% usage rate. Against the Clippers, he had a 25% usage rate. Sacramento, just a 10%. Against Phoenix, he had a 24%, and Houston, a 21%. He's been a shot at a point per minute, and against Houston, he broke the slate. 47 and a quarter DKP. Very scoring dependent, but there's a lot of shots to make up for here, and it's very, very reasonable to suggest that 30-plus minutes are in Trey Burke's not too distant future today. So at 3,700, I got my eyes on him early as a guy that I want to gamble on to hit 25, 35 fantasy points. I think he's going to be pretty trendy when it's all said and done. But I got to be an investor at that price point. Trey Burke's one of the journeymen lately. And I'm sure every opportunity he gets, he'll want to show up and show out. Now let's get to the poster boy here, Jimmy G. Buckets. And that G, well, it stands for gets TJ Warren. 7.2K on DraftKings. In almost any matchup, this is too cheap, right? 7.2K, give me north side of 40 fantasy points. I'm there. He's been close to that in games that he's played lately, right? 33 minutes against Toronto, missed 40 by a bucket. Against Denver, 43 DKP in 30 minutes. That game was a 20-point blowout. Washington, only 24 minutes there. That game also a little lopsided. New Orleans, 53 fantasy points, but that's going back to the south side of the season. He's rested the last 3 games for the Miami Heat. He's expected to play this game. I'll tweet out a video if you guys go check out my Twitter, twitter.com/GundeckerSports, of a very real, explicit post-game interview from Jimmy Butler earlier this season after a Pacers game. You guys, if you follow basketball, you know Jimmy Butler and TJ Warren, they got bad blood. They got problems. And I'd probably pay up to $8.5K here for Jimmy Butler today. So I think a 7.2, it's a no-brainer. The tongue-in-cheek fear in the back of my head is, man, are Warren and Butler going to both get ejected? Is it going to get that crazy? Hopefully not, and I can take advantage of this price point. But it looks like Jimmy Butler is inspired to play some basketball today. It looks like he's rested. Looks like there's going to be no Kendrick Nunn. So there's a lot of reason to like Jimmy Butler here today, and I'm going to like his a teammate of his as well. So we're going to put Jimmy Butler as a core play here. He's probably, should he play, he's probably my biggest core play. Does that make sense? He's the guy that has the least likelihood of being taken out of this core 5. Like, guys like Conley can be flaky. Trey Burke, his other value opens up. But I really don't see a way I'm getting away from 7.2K Jimmy Butler unless he just straight up doesn't play. Let's keep it moving. Maxi Kleber. This was going to be a minutes play. Power forward spot. Like I said, no Porzingis. Dwight Powell's injured. No Willie Cauley-Stein. And no Dorian Finney-Smith. And Dorian Finney-Smith, I'll pull up his game log. He might not represent a whole lot of fantasy points, although he didn't do too bad in that last game fantasy-wise. 54 fantasy points, 29-38. Low-key been killing it. Look at these minutes. 43, 37, 41. That's a lot of minutes to make up, right? Porzingis, same thing. Porzingis going to go out there and give you 30 minutes a game. At least 40, 38, 27, 38. That 27, he fouled out, so he's probably well on his way for another mid-30s. That's a lot of forward minutes to make up, a lot of center minutes to make up. Boban Marjanovic is probably going to be a fantasy sweetheart today, and I love me some Boban. But I think we should all appreciate the fact that Boban's range of outcomes, minute projection-wise, is pretty wide, right? We've seen as little as 5 as a starter, and he probably will push like 25 on a good day. Rarely you get that 30. Maybe it comes today just because there's a shallow pool of minutes to go around. But Kleber seems like he could legitimately play 37, 38 minutes. 4,200, I'm not expecting a whole lot of point per minute production, but can I get to 25, 30 DKP? We've seen it from him before. Very inconsistent, not a great warm and fuzzy click, but I do feel like the minutes will be there, and minutes equal money, and at 4,200, that's a cheap price for potentially 37, 38 minutes. It kind of feels like a Harrison Barnes play, maybe a Daniel House play, guys like that are going to be out there, and maybe they let you down. But I'll take it. I'll take a gamble on those minutes. And lastly, I want to talk about Bam Adebayo at the center spot, 7.9K. I think the Heat are pretty stackable. Kendrick Nunn, I do have Kendrick Nunn projected to be out. Let me double check that for you. See if anything changed in the last hour while I've been studying. I got Kendrick Nunn has rejoined the Heat Orlando but will not play. So he's going to have to, go through quarantine again, right? So that's going to leave Goran Dragic, Tyler Hero, guys like that to be a guard. And then at the big spot, man, Bam Adebayo's there. And Bam Adebayo is 7.9K. I'm looking for 40 fantasy points, maybe 40 plus. And that's usually a reasonable range of outcome. We were never going to play him against Milwaukee. That was not somebody we were on. I explained to you guys in that live stream, Milwaukee allows the fewest points in the paint. They're one of the hardest teams to score on in the paint. And Bam Adebayo scores almost all of his points in the paint. He doesn't chuck threes. He did chuck 1 3 against Milwaukee. But outside of that, you look at, as far as the eye can see, not a three-point attempt. So we didn't touch him there. You open things back up against a more neutral matchup. And how about a favorable matchup, such as the one against the Indiana Pacers front court? Here's a guy that does a little bit of everything. 9 assists, 6 assists, 5, 7, 12 rebounds. Blocks and steals will be there. Miles Turner, not a really strong rebounding center TJ Warren has had some fake rebound games lately, but that's not something that I can project to sustain until we get more sample size. How about Bam Adebayo? He's averaging 42 fantasy points in 2 games against Indiana. It's a great matchup. I'm going to play it. I'm a buyer. So those are 5 names I'm looking at early on. I can handcuff Butler to Adebayo. I can handcuff Kleber to Trey Burke. And then Mike Conley's just kind of floating. Just some other names that are floating around, just a little extra content. Jamal Murray did come back for the Denver Nuggets. I liked him on FanDuel because it felt like he was a little bit more of a value. I think he was like 6'5". He's 7-1 on DraftKings. The minutes were there right away. Thought maybe coming back with a hamstring injury that they'd be cautious with him. But he did get 39 minutes extra inning game, or I always say extra innings, but overtime game. And he did a little bit of everything, and he rebounded. 12 rebounds there against Utah. 40-plus fantasy points is a reasonable range of outcome for him. He's done that in the last 3. In 3 games against the Lakers this season, he's averaging just a 3-pointer shy of 40. Maybe you take a Will Barton out of the mix, Gary Harris out of the mix. The minutes will still be there. The shots will still be there. And maybe this is a test for the Denver Nuggets. Can they beat the Lakers in a couple weeks if they meet up in the playoffs? So I don't hate looking at some Jamal Murray. Also brainstorming OKC's on day 2 of a back-to-back. Could a guy like Chris Paul get a day off, further elevating the wheel of death in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Nerlens Noel and Steven Adams both were out yesterday in that game against the Wizards. Could they be back today? Would that open up some opportunity for them? If they missed again, that's a plus for DeAndre Ayton. Who else could kind of... Serge Ibaka. Can we talk about Serge Ibaka? Not a fun play, not a fantastic click. He's 5K. I need 30. You got to give up the center spot. But I do like him fast-paced matchups. I wish he was more of a power forward option here. But yesterday he got off. Fast-paced spot. 12 rebounds. A little bit of everything. Tried to 5x5 even in just 25 minutes. I like him in fast-paced matchups. He chucked 3 threes. Made 2 of them. We know against the Bucks they don't allow a lot of points in the paint, but they do allow points via the 3-ball, kind of a funnel defense. So I don't hate tournament shots on Ibaka, maybe on DraftKings, but I think for me he's a little bit more of a FanDuel dart throw. Any other names that were sticking out to me before I get out of here? Malcolm Brogdon has been pretty consistent. I will say Goran Dragic probably feels a little bit cheap. I didn't want to give you 3 Heat players in a core 5, right? But Dragic, with none, he's already been crushing it, giving you 30 plus really for the last 3 games. And to the Heat's credit, these haven't been cakewalk matchups. Boston, Toronto, Denver. Pacers probably a better matchup. And maybe their guard defense is a little bit above average with a healthy Depot and Brogdon. But Dragic's one of those centers that can do a little bit of everything. So at 4,900, could I get 30 plus? I don't mind putting him in my back pocket. TJ Warren at 8-4. That's going to be a gut call that I'm going to leave to you guys. That's getting fun to watch. But I'm going to leave that one to you guys. And like I said, Jordan Clarkson would open up. He's 5K, so I absolutely have to have that 30 DKP. 25 minutes against Denver. He's going to be around a point per minute. If there's no Donovan Mitchell, seems like an above-average chance that Clarkson could get 30-plus minutes. And I do think he has upside at 5K, but the range of outcome seems a little bit more median for him to just hit value. So it's not something I'm super, super stoked about. Anyone else here screaming at me? Keep an eye on Gallinari. He only played 22 minutes yesterday. Was that cautious on a back-to-back? Another playoff team just kind of locked in. If Adams and Noel were to miss again, I mean, Gallo seems like he's in a great spot to continue to be a point per minute plus. Was nearly a 20-point spread there, or 20-point final score there against Washington. Maybe this game's a little bit more competitive. I don't know. What names are you guys digging? Who do you like today? Like I said, I don't want to just throw you Giannis and LeBron and guys like that. I'm looking for some guys to justify 8K or less. So let me know what you guys are thinking about this slate. Help me out. Hit that thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Helps me out. And if you are on Twitter, twitter.com/GundeckerSports, you can reach out to me. DMs are open. Check out that Jimmy Butler video. Other than that, I'll see you guys
around. I do have a FanDuel NBA pick video up. If you guys are playing FanDuel, want to see some of my early thoughts on that, check that out. But yeah, leave some comments, man. That really helps the channel. Some interaction right now will help stir the channel in the YouTube algorithm, and it will help me replace the squeaky chair so you don't have to hear it. I'll see you guys in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord today. I love you guys. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.